6. Man Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is loose. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
Hello, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be tuning in from. Thank you for tuning in with me on this lovely Monday morning still for me here in South Georgia at the V1 HQ. Callie Simmer just joining us from the West Coast. Good morning to you, Callie Simmer. I just finished my cafe con leche, so I hope you have a nice warm coffee with you to accompany you along our flight from Aspen to Telluride, Colorado. Short one today. Apologize for delaying the stream. Coming into the office this morning, there was a funeral. There was a fallen officer, so there was one of the funeral convoys. Literally took about 45 minutes. So my drive to the office was a little over an hour long. So I had to delay some stuff. I wanted to update the Lear. We're at the latest and greatest 1.08 version from FlySimware. The only caveat is all the liveries right now, or as of now, are still a little bit bugged out because on this latest update, they changed a couple of the mapping stuff for the right wing tank, and I think on the nose cone as well. So we'll have a little bit of a visual situation, but it won't be too bad, and I'm sure that will get fixed, as the livery painters update and create their fixes and all that. So I'm super excited. I almost don't even want to fly the Airbus stream today because I'm having so much fun with this airplane. I already did one test sector real quick, get everything fired up, and everything is looking good in the latest update. I'll show you a couple things that I've found on my test flight. I don't know if it's as intended or maybe it is, I don't know if it's a bug or not a bug, maybe it's pilot error, but I'll show you a couple things I've noticed as of late on this new version. But I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited. It's going to be a fun one. Jeff Jameson, good to see you. Romulus in the house. Marcus, Taylor Earl, Jasper, Tiger Dude, Tony Johns, Flyplan, Mysterious Mr. T, Jeff L. Scott, Fragtality, good to see you, my man. Shout out to Fragtality for rejuvenating my simulator. It's absolutely fantastic. Things are working good. Now, one thing you'll also know, I've updated the encoder settings. I'm running something different. So you know we've had some frame drop issues which have not been sim related. The frame drops that we get in the sim are from internet issues. Now I've changed a lot of my encoder settings. I'm running a different profile now, and it should allow you to run this stream at 1080p by 60 FPS. Previously I was running it at 30 FPS. Now hopefully this will bring you, as we walk away from the Aspen cabin here, hopefully it will bring you a smoother, better looking experience for this stream. So if you do notice a difference, make sure you leave a comment if you're watching this on replay, or just let me know in chat. Let me know if it looks any different to you. But let's go ahead and walk out to the airplane. Garrett, good morning, Captain. Catching my first live. Hey, Garrett, welcome on board. Hope you stick around for future live streams. Today ought to be a fun one. It's going to be short. I don't know. We might still go to Denver Executive. I was planning 2 legs today, but with the delay, I was like, well, maybe we'll just do 1 leg. But I don't know. I'm having so much fun in this Learjet, y'all. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. Oh my goodness, we've got some snow already on the wings there. See that? So here's the visual artifact. You'll see this is a livery thing. And over here, obviously there's a little different in the wing tank. So they updated something on the latest version, which kind of bugged out some of these previous liveries, but that's to be expected. This is an early access aircraft, so I'll throw that out there. But I'll tell you what, for early access, one of the best early access airplanes I've flown. And there's something about this bird that I just keep coming back to. I don't know if it's the flight model. I don't know if it's the challenge behind it, if it's sportiness in nature. I don't know, but this is prompting me to do a whole new series or stream of series of videos. Basically, I think the perfect transition for anybody that wants to go, maybe you're a GA flyer. I see we're bringing a lot of GA folks to the channel now since I've been doing some GA streams here with the Learjet and stuff. Transition, basically, you need to go TBM, King Air, and then Learjet. I think that should be your progression of aircraft if you're still in the single engine game or whatnot. And I almost feel like putting together a little series of how to become a corporate jet pilot. I don't know. This airplane makes me so motivated and so happy to fly it. So here we go. Let's do it. Zippy's in the chat. Good to see you. Crashes into departure lounge. I'm here. Did I miss the flight? Zippy, good to see you. Who was it? Was it Liam that said, Flight Deck to Sim said that he was wondering if they installed crash barriers? Listen, I don't know if they installed crash barriers, but I don't know if they're teaching with the Flight Deck Sim School of Aeronautics if they're teaching how to flare, because I know a little friendly banter going back and forth here. I got a kick out of what he was doing yesterday when he commented on my video when we did hit the hangar. Full disclosure, we did drive this airplane into a hangar. First legitimate crash probably on the channel in over 5 years. But I still put an asterisk on that crash because we didn't have a proper binding. We were also overweight for that runway, and we had a tailwind with a 25 knot, basically a 25 knot direct crosswind with like a 10% tailwind. So quartering tailwind, completely out of limits, and no binding. So maybe I get a pass. I don't know, but it's fitting that the first airplane I crash on stream is a Learjet, because I feel like that just is that's just how it should be. I mean, I was waiting for a crash to happen, and it was the Learjet. But I love it. Let's fire it up. Legally Blind Fly is good to see. I'm going to have to get this plane when I get rid of my liver and lung abscesses and start to feel better. I'm happy to watching your stream. Hey, Legally Blind Flies, I wish you a speedy recovery. And yes, maybe treat yourself. Get recovered, get feeling better, and pick yourself up a Learjet, man. I'm sure this airplane is going to continue to be updated. I mean, since the last time we flew it, I think there's been 4 or 5 updates. So should be a good one. Should be a good one. All right, here we go. Fire truck is prepared. Did you see that? Now I want to make sure my sound settings are up. I feel like a lot of my volumes are way down. Hold on. I'm going to have to bear with me real quick here because I did do basically a whole new encoder, everything. So hopefully the experience will be better. Let's reset camera. Boom, boom. Ooh, we are on Iveo today. We got a little Scandinavian, what is that, a Fokker over there? I don't know. We are on the Iveo network. Ooh, we got some frost in here. So let's come into the cockpit. Let's first do our pre-flight check. We'll leave the chocks on. We'll get the engine covers, pitot covers. We'll move the front cover. And we are iced up, chat. We're going to need to defrost this puppy. So let's go ahead and connect the GPU. With the cabin door open, we'll just kind of simulate that they're doing their boarding thing here. So let's go ahead and get the batteries on first. Battery 1 and battery 2. We can tell that we're on the GPU because we've got our volts up, and you can kind of toggle it here. Let me do a quick little toggle. I guess you would want to have the battery on. There we go. See the volt change there? Perfect. So we got a good GPU, good power. Let's go ahead and get our emergency battery on. That'll get that situation fixed over there. I'm going to go, can I get windshield heat on from the ground power? I'm curious. I don't think so, because you probably need bleed air, right? Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's kind of go through our pre-flow here. I'm going to go ahead and get the avionics master on, even though you wouldn't really do that probably with the GTN 750. But from some pilots that I spoke to, they said on the UNS-1 they would just leave it fired up when they started engines. So either way, we're just going to simulate that because I don't want to save the flight plan and have to reload it after start. Continuing to come through here, hydraulic pump, we'll go ahead and turn that off.
System test okay.
We do have hydraulic pressure, the brakes are set. Seatbelt, no smoking is going to come on. Let's come over here, take a look at our fuel. We're going to adjust our fuel tanks, and cross feed is off, jet pumps are on, standbys are off. Everything else looks good here. We'll continue to move our way across the panel. Let me hide this yoke real quick. Let's go ahead and get the nav light on. And with the nav light on, we can go ahead and start programming our aircraft. Sylvia says this airplane is amazing. Yes, it is absolutely amazing. It really, truly is amazing. It was, oh yeah, Team Vodka, good to see you, man. Yeah, what did, I forget where we crashed, but that wasn't a crash on, that was X-Plane 12 being X-Plane, or X-Plane 11 being X-Plane 11. We flew into an invisible wall out of Tahoe. So we can't do that. Did you apply the TDS autopilot hotfix? Ammo. So I saw that y'all posted a hotfix. I was in the middle of a test sector with this, and everything worked fine. So I didn't want to jinx it. If I come up to a bug, then I'm going to install the hotfix after this anyway, but I didn't have any issues. I flew a quick test sector, intercepted a GPS approach, then I did a LOC, and everything seemed to work fine. The one thing I noticed, I'll say this now, maybe this is what the hotfix is, when I was in pitch mode, basically flying with the thumb barrel, I can't remember what this is called here, the little barrel knob here on the yoke, the altitude capture would not capture when I was in that mode. But if I lowered my vertical speed to below 1,000 feet per minute and I either just did a speed hold or a vertical speed hold, it would capture the armed altitude every single time. So I don't know if that is a function or a bug, but I was able to get altitude capturing just fine in speed and vertical speed. I even was able to capture I also did the GPS approach with a vertical deviation. It captured everything and worked flawlessly. That was without the latest hotfix, but I will check out the latest hotfix and see if it changes anything. No, Team Vodka, that was not icing. Your airplane doesn't just blow up when you have icing, my man. All right, let's go ahead and load this up. Aspen to Telluride. We're going to throw that in here. Boom. Aspen departures. We're going to load procedure. What did we file today, chat? Do you even have it in the box for me? Let's see. We're on the Pitkin 4 to Linz. So we're going to do Pitkin 4. We can take this all the way out to the Eker transition, right? Or no? Supposed to be Linz. I'll tell you what, we'll do Eker. Yeah, that's what it was. All right, so we'll load that departure procedure. Everything seems to be working there. From there, we've got two fixes, Linz and Solemn. Let's go ahead and scan down through this here. Actually, so Solemn is there. Interesting. To ETL. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna add a waypoint here. I'm gonna put ETL, because that's cones. That's basically the start of all approaches. I need to move cones up. How do I do that? Can I move cones up? Let's see. Insert before text. Invalid flight plan model. Okay, fine. Well, let's do this. We'll remove you. We'll do it this way. Such a short flight. It's only 80 miles direct. We're going to go approach, and we're going to shoot the RNAV today. We're going to do the RNAV Yankee. Or should we do the RNAV Zulu? Let's do the RNAV Zulu lateral plus vertical. RNAV Zulu approach. Actually, wait. That might be going from the other direction. Let's do RNAV Yankee. Let me see the chart. This is the one I want. RNAV Yankee. We're going to come in off of cones, and we're going to hold at cones till we get on speed, and then we're going to shoot this LPV-ish approach. LP minimum's 11.5. Now, I'll tell y'all right now in the chat that on my test sector about 30 minutes ago, the only way we're getting into Telluride this morning is by going below minimums. So keep that in mind. This is simulation, and it's fun, so we're going to mess around. But I don't think, as of 30 minutes ago, you'd be able to get in with this approach. You'd have to hold for the weather to improve. And it might improve by the time we get there, but I was all the way down to about 10,000 feet MSL or 10.9 before I even saw the approach lights. So we're going to load up the RNAV GPS Yankee for runway 9er, so that looks good. We'll go back. Don't want to cancel that. All right, so that looks good. We're going to load approach. And it's kind of a funky looking flight plan right now because we got the departure and then the airport and then an approach. But once we get airborne, we'll just go direct cones and it will look much, much better. So hopefully you guys are going to be okay with that. We'll go ahead and pull up the map page. Here's Aspen. We'll also get the latest winds, and then we will fire it up. Now, there's no electrical way to de-ice, is there? I didn't know if there's any electrical heats that we can use to remove the window. Like in the Airbus, we have the electrical windshield heat, but I guess that's all pneumatic, so kind of neat, kind of SOL. You would have to get sprayed from GSX, but we're not going to do that. We're going to just give it a full sense. So let's go ahead and we'll leave the GPU on. We'll leave the chocks for now. Let's go to weight and balance. And actually, real quick, that's what I was going to do. Let's just get a wind readout here at Aspen. Could be a difference between getting off the ground or not. So winds are calm, beautiful. Winds are calm, 6 miles haze, pretty good. All right, so we don't have to worry about that. We'll close that. Who we taking? We got a pilot, a co-pilot. We're going to take Julie. We're going to take John, and we're going to take Cindy with the bottle. She's a given. She comes on every single flight. And who else should we take? We take Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby's coming along with us, and we'll take just a moderate load. Maybe they're just doing duffel bags. They've already got their ski stuff, so we'll do a light load, just duffel bags today between the two airports here. Now let's look at our fuel loading. Right, we need to change this. Now I believe this is normal, right? So tip tanks first. I want to see if you did that. Now, this should bleed down, right? Now, I believe I was reading up on the fuel system. The tip tanks will gravity feed to the wing tanks until approximately X pounds. I want to say it was like 90 or 90 gallons, maybe. So, Florida Wings Telluride METAR currently showing 2 miles and ceiling at 3,000. Florida Wings, so that is what I'm telling you is going to be the problem. We're going to have to finagle the regulations to get into Telluride this morning, but that's what we do here on the V1 channel. We like to have some fun, so this is going to be the fun one. 90 pounds, or 90 gallons, thank you, Team Vodka. So this is going to continue to bleed down. You can see that that's working correctly, but we still don't need all that fuel. So I'm curious then, if I were to do 0 wing tanks and full tip tanks, it's still going to bleed until a certain amount of time until they're equal. So for testing purposes, I want to know for my own knowledge, if you just go full tip tanks, where does this equalize? So we're going to let that do that, and we'll come back to it here in a minute. But let's go ahead and close up the door. So let's go ahead and remove the chocks. Let's go ahead and close the cabin door. But yeah, for my own knowledge, I want to know what happens if you go full tip tanks, 0 wing tanks. Where does that level off? And I believe it, like we said, 90 gallons. It's got to be 90 pounds. So what's happening if you're not really familiar what I mean by that? So when you fill up the Lear 35, you start at the tip tanks, and these tip tanks will automatically gravity feed into the wing tanks. You can kind of see how that makes sense, right? So depending on how the airplane is sitting, really would also have an effect, but it's going to kind of bleed into these wing tanks here until they're about equal. level for gravity, and then it would go ahead, and then you could go ahead and burn it. Now, I guess what you could also do, what would happen is if you had, you'd have to have full wing tanks before you could have full tip tanks. Just kind of an interesting. Check those leading edge patches. I know we got leading edge ice. Oh, one thing we need to do, chat, this is part of our pre-flight in the Lear 35. We have to open up all of our windows, so make sure y'all remember that. Ooh, there's our in-flight entertainment view. We're not going to be using any in-flight entertainment today, but let's go ahead and open up the rest of our windows for our pre-flight. Oops, wrong button. How is the stream looking so far as smoothness goes with the new encoder settings? Can we tell a difference? Do we like it? Yay or nay? Man, look at that leading edge ice on there. Get that NASA report form ready, Key 6. I feel like you're the FAA, my man. You're always in here getting ready. Like, here, get the NASA report. Hey, fill out this ASAP report. Good to see you, Key 6. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Looks like you forgot to pay your paint shop. Casmi, I sure did. Forgot to do the paint shop today, but I did see there was a livery painter here in the chat that said that they're working on updating their livery right now. So I'm having so much fun with this airplane. I'd fly it like this for the next week and a half. It's just so much fun. Now, what I am concerned about is, should we try to spray it with GSX? Has that ever been tested before? Should we just try to do a GSX de-icing? I'm curious. Or should we just stick with the known and just start up and use our own aircraft systems? You guys let me know. I kind of want to see what GSX would do. Can I just do additional request de-ice? What the hell? I mean, we're testing, right? I think we got some devs in the chat. I mean, this might be a bad, let's use Menzies. Uh-oh. To add on something, uh-oh. No. Replying no real quick. Do you want to restart Kutal? Sure. I don't know what happened there. We done screwed something up. Okay. Let's try that again. We gotta wait for Kutal to restart. For science. This is for science. Now it gave me a weird script error. Additional services, request de-ice. What if we just use American GSX choice? It says the add-on blank blank is causing the scripting engine to restart. Please run live update. Let's restart it. So let's see. Oh, Aspen required assistance. Oh, maybe it's at this location. It won't do it for some reason. I'm looking at the log. Here, I'll paste it in the chat for y'all if you want to. This is for science. Oh, I can't post it for some reason. That's interesting. All right. Get a hairdryer. Okay. GSX not working yet. Perfect. GSX, it's safe and effective sometimes. All right, that's fine. We'll go ahead and just fire it up then, and we'll use our own airframe de-icing to do our thing. So let's go ahead and get the beacon light on. Beacons are on. We're going to leave the avionics on. And yeah, we're ready to go. We're still on GPU, so we're doing a GPU start. So let's go ahead and start number 2. The reason you'd start number 2, I assume this is why you would start number 2, just like we did in the citation, is after you fire up the engine, some poor ramp guy's got to come over here and unplug. So what we would do in the citation is we'd start 2, disconnect, and then do a cross generator start on number 1, so this guy doesn't have to stick his head right next to the decapitation machine. So I would assume there's probably some technique like that in real life they would do with the Lear. So let's go ahead and emulate that today. Beacons on, and starting number 2, generators going online. I forgot to run those in cutoffs. Looking for 10% turbine. Fuel. Once we get the air on, we'll be able to use some bleed air on our windshield too. Looks like we're lighting off. So you'll notice they got rid of the artifacting inside the engine. That's cool. Just still missing that sounds. Yeah, the GPU is probably in the wrong spot. They'd probably put the circuit breaker, or I'm sorry, they'd probably put the GPU on the other side of the aircraft. what would make logic sense. All right, generator start light is out, so we will go off. So now with that off, we're going to disconnect the GPU. And now with the GPU off, we're going to go ahead and go right generator on because we're at idle. Check our volts and amps. We got a good start on number 2, and now we're on generator power. So now we'll do a cross generator start for number 1. So everything looks good, volts and amps. We'll go ahead and start number 1. We got turbine rotation, waiting for 10% or any fan speed. Right about there, 10%. Let's go fuel. There's our light off. Jeremy, good to see you, man. I wonder what would happen if there was a slight slope to the apron. Would tanks still gravity feed? They would to an extent, Jeremy, but you could. I think you'd have to be parked on a very significant slope that I don't think would be very realistic as far as airport aprons are concerned for it to really affect the gravity feeding. But that's why you would definitely be looking at your fuel post-start to make sure everything is balanced accordingly. There's been a few Lear crashes that I've kind of been Googling around, seeing where some issues with fuel balance, and Gustavo brought up a point where there was an improper fueling situation that happened in Brazil on a Lear, and after takeoff they realized what was wrong, but the jet pumps or the transfer pumps were not fast enough to remedy the situation, and the airplane crashed. All right, looks like we got a good start on number 1. Start light is out. Let's go generator 1 on. Now with generator 1 on, let's go ahead and run through our flows. We'll go windshield heat on. We'll go radium on. pitot on. We'll leave the nacelle heat off because we don't have any power right now. We'll power up the autopilot panel. We'll go ahead and get the stall warnings on. We'll go ahead and get cabin air on. Let's go ahead and turn the fan on. We're going to warm this puppy up. Did I leave the inverters off that whole time? I think I did. Rip. Should have had inverters on before start. Look at that. We've already we're clearing up the ice. All right, we're missing a panel. We're going to ferry it over to Telluride to pick up a new Lear panel. New nose panel. I'm slightly worried about this situation here, but maybe we'll be fine. I don't know. I'm going to lower the sounds a little bit. Okay, so after start, that's coming up. Let's take a look at our trim. Remember, we're going to put the trim in the pie, so we're going to go ahead and bring this puppy nose up trim. Listen to the sound of the trim clacker. They've adjusted it. I love it. Less bassy, less loud. I think we might even leave it on. So in the pie, we'll power up the yaw dampers, but we won't engage them. We'll make sure we're on 122.8, which we are. We'll go ahead and fire up the stab heat as well. Now, this is interesting. I read about this morning. If you're new to the Lear, like me, and you're kind of wondering what this situation is here, let me give you a quick rundown because I had to look this up in the manual. So I was looking at these temps here, wing temp, stab temp. To me, that automatically, I'm thinking there's some type of bleed system here. This is an anti-ice indicator or de-icing indicator, rather. Actually, it should be anti-ice because it would be a heated wing and a heated stab. So in my logical sense, red means hot. Okay, well in the Lear 35, red does not mean hot. Red means it's cold. It means you are susceptible to accumulating ice when it is in the red. So you must turn on the heats to bring these needles into the green. Once they're in the green, that means I think it's 140 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere around there is what I was reading. And that is where you should be to keep it from accumulating ice or being out of the danger zone. Now up here, this is where you start getting towards an overheat situation. So you want to be mindful of that. But red does not mean hot. Red means you're cold and you're actually susceptible to icing conditions. So we've got our stab heat on. Again, that's controlled over here by the stab wing heat. Now, if I put on the nacelle heat for science, we've got our nacelle engine lights up here, meaning we don't have enough bleed pressure, right? So theoretically, you'd have to run this up a little bit. Lights go out. So I'll leave those off until we get ready for takeoff. Phil, good evening. Good morning, rather. Welcome to Private Pilot. Glad to have you on board. Glad to have you on board. All right, everything is good. We'll go flaps 8. Flaps 8, and last thing we didn't set, chat, is magic barrel ref key and our cruise altitude. We're going to zip over there. It's a short flight, but we're going to run it up to 21 thou. Is what we're going to do. We're going to quick hop. We're going to run it right up to flight level 210. 210 is set, and as far as this goes, I mean, we're already going to be above that, so really you could, I guess you would set it like here. I mean, it's going to be unpressurized anyway, so because we're going up, we're going, the altitude we're cruising at is lower than the cabin altitude selector dial. All right, we're all ready to go here. Let's look at our fuel. So, remember we did this for science. We filled up the tip tanks, and they fled into the wing tanks. Now, I don't know if they were supposed to do that completely, but at least we discovered it. We have got plenty of fuel on board, 724 miles. We don't want to take a whole lot of gas. You can see here that our tip tanks are empty and we're all in the wing tanks. Now, as far as accuracy, I'm not sure, but let's just make sure everything jives here. So right tip is empty, right wing has got fuel, fuse tank's got nothing, left wing has got fuel, left tip has nothing. So that's good. I'm going to put it on total, standby pumps off, jet pumps on, and the transfer is off. Excellent. I think we're ready to go, chat. Where are we at? Where are we going to taxi to? So we are going to taxi to runway 33 for departure. Yes, we are. 33 for departure. Aspen traffic, Lear 7 Sierra Delta, taxi runway 33, Aspen. All right, landing lights to taxi. I guess that's kind of a weird way to say that. Taxi lights on, I guess, is better. Brakes off. So we have some nacelle ice on our engines. I'm going to run nacelle heat on, and we're going to see what happens by the time we get to the end of the runway. Let's go. A little bit of juice. Brakes are off. Here we go. And, forgot. Nose wheel steering on. I've got it bound. Bindings. Make sure you have your bindings. That is critical on this airplane. Brake check. Looking good. Hydraulic pressure's in the green. Check says... Oh, they're talking... Yeah. Yeah, Sylvina. Calm it down. Calm it down, Sylvina. Ooh, Scandinavian taxiing. Is that a Fokker? Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Love the Fokkers. Alright, we're going to just kind of run it out over the ramp here. Is he doing a power back? Oh no, he's taxed out. Did you hear the engine spool up? That was cool. Actually, let's take Alpha. Let's go across the icy snow patch here. What could go wrong? Let's go across this ice-covered runway or ramp area. Or that might have been grass we just taxied over. Is that the runway? That is the runway. That's the runway right there. Okay. Crisis averted. Crisis averted. Oh, I see what it is. It's a glitch in the scenery. Glitch in the scenery. I'm not at fault. What's with the nose panel? Jace, so with the latest update that just released, I believe this morning? Yeah. The old liveries need updates. So that's it. I picked a livery that had the least amount of issues with just the right wing tank doesn't match and that nose panel is missing. But we're going to fly it over to Telluride. I think they have a spare Lear panel over there because somebody ran one off the runway. And we're just going to go ahead and take that one and put it on our airplane. DirectX 12 ground texture. Yeah, operator dirt, that's what it is. So that issue is the DirectX 12. Well, let's go ahead and run our test. Thrust reverser test. And then we'll go ahead and, so thrust and reversers. Now we'll arm those. Let's go ahead and pop the buckets. There's our deploy lights. We're dragging buckets. We'll go ahead and stow them. We should be rearmed. And now if I add forward thrust, the lights go out. All right, reverser check is complete. Let me run through some of my paper checklists here that I have. All right, engine start. I probably should have done that. Hydraulics, starter switches, generators, hydraulics, GPUs, all that's good. Before taxi, avionics are set. Weather radar, standby takeoff trims are set. This way you don't read and taxi at the same time. No steer is on. Takeoff data is set. Flaps are 8 degrees set and checked. Taxi lights are on before takeoff. Transponder on. Pitot heat is on. Lights and strobes, we'll get those. Stall warning is already on. Thruster arm, reverser arm. Annunciator panel checked. It's normal with the NAC heats on right now. We're trying to see if we can get any of that ice off those nacelles. Ignition, we'll get that. And radio weather, set range and weather. Interesting. All right, checklist complete. Going all the way down to 3-3. Nose fuselage is not in the MEL. Rit. Alright, let's go ahead and we don't need you anymore. Get rid of you. The nose fuselage is not in the MEL. That's funny though. Yeah, well, we're part 91. I guess you'd still be illegal, but yeah. If you think that's going to be the least of our worries, my man. Wait till we go below minimums by 1,000 feet in a Telluride. JW Fire, welcome to Private Pilot. Glad to have you on board. Is there a way to bind autopilot pitch mode? Yes, Sep. It is autopilot pitch ref command. So it is bindable. I do have it working. I'll demonstrate it in flight. But yes, it is bindable. I believe it is the autopilot pitch reference is what you need to bind. That clicking noise, that is the drums in the round gauges. So when the dials are spinning, you get that tick, 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 tick. And if you look at any Lear 35 cockpit videos, you'll see that it's very true to real life. You see there's no clicking sound. Now watch when I add power. You see how they're clicking? Pretty cool. I love that. Absolutely love it. All right, we're holding short of 3-3. We only have 100 likes and 450 watching on Learjet stream. That's unacceptable. Please smash down that like button so we can continue to do Learjet streams. Because if you don't, I'm going to continue to do Learjet streams anyway. So, all right. We'll go ahead and get our auto ignitions. Our air ignitions are on. We'll go taxi lights to landing position. Strobes, recogs are on. Our stab heat is still red. That's a little bit sus, but it's on. Everything else is on. And we'll give it a full send here. We'll see what happens after takeoff. Telluride traffic, Lear 7 Sierra Delta departing runway 33, Aspen. Y'all ready? Let's do this. Now, hopefully this doesn't completely screw up the stream quality. I'm going to try it for science. With a lot of science testing today. We got all the cameras on, completely new encoder settings. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Zach, welcome back to Private Pilot, my friend. Glad to have you on board. The clicker sounds like my brain firing up in the morning. Shaq, dude, that was me this morning, man. That was me this morning, dude. I hope Blanco Lirio doesn't have to report on this one. But we're just making content for Blanco Lirio. That's what we're doing. Oh, good. We got a direct tailwind now, according to the windsock. This is definitely going to be on Blanco Lirio. One thing here I noticed I forgot to do. Let's go ahead and set our standby. All right, standby ADI is set. Power is on the AFCS. Chat, let's do this. No yogas, but here we go. Nice and stable. Run it forward. We're going to hold the brakes. Looking for about 850. Brakes released. Here we go. Watching those temps. Power set. A little hot. Coming back a little bit on that power. Airspeed's alive. It's a rocket ship. I love it. 100 knots, check. V1, rotate. Positive. Right, you're up. Fly with. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot to do the, forgot to get the flight director up. That's on me. Oh well. Did a no flight director takeoff. Flap 0. There's the turn. Accelerating 250 knots. Thrust, reverser arms are off. There's the other turn to the left. Aspen traffic, Lear 7 Sierra Delta with a Pitkin 4 departure out of 11.4, last call Aspen. Still accelerating at 250k knots. I'm going to go ahead and fix my flight director. So that was the improper setup there for the AFCS on departure. I never brought up my FDs, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to engage yaw dampers. Should have done that too. So that's engaged, and now we're in LRN mode, so I'm going to engage the AFCS, I'm going to arm the altitude. So now, you can't really see it on one of my trim buttons here. I have the autopilot pitch ref, so let me go ahead, I'm going to push it down. Now see what's happening to the command bar. So it's going to demand a lower AOA, thus an increase of speed, and we're basically just flying it with the that thumb barrel thing on the yoke. So this is how Matt, the former Lear guy in the chat that's been on the streams, said they've been flying them. So we're not going to use the very scary vertical speed mode. But you can see here we're alt arm, engaged, and we're in nav. So I'll keep lowering that until we get to 250. Coming through 200 knots. You could even increase power here. 850 max continuous ITT. I mean, this thing is straight up like flying an F-16 out of there. I mean, well, I don't know, I've never flown an F-16, but it feels like it. Flying with trim, I wouldn't say flying with trim, but maybe with the trim switch, I guess. All right, here comes our transition. We'll go ahead and set standard, magic barrel ref key. Oh, it didn't work. Let's set 299R2. 299R2 is set. Keep lowering the nose. So now watch what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since we're getting so close to altitude, I'm going to go, I want to trim down, and bring the power out. So this is how I've been capturing altitudes. I'm going to bring the power back. I want to get my vertical speed down to about 1,000 or less. So bringing some power off. Because I'm trying to pitch down. There's our altitude alert. Now what I'm going to do here, so we're about 7. Let's come down a little bit more. I'm going to go vertical speed hold right now. So we're vertical speeding at about 500-600 feet per minute. And we should, in theory, now I can get a little bit more power on, it'll capture the altitude. We'll make sure we monitor that. Let's go ahead and get the nacelle heat off. I don't think we need those anymore. No, we don't need the windshield heat. Oh, Matt says MCT's 832. All right, well, look, I mean, I've got the power way back. Just because there's so much happening here, let me give you full screen cam. There's so much happening so fast that I need to fly slower until I'm more mentally capable. All right, so we're holding our vertical speed. We're 250 knots. We're flying really slow. I mean, an advanced Lear pilot would be like, why are you doing 250 knots? You should be doing 300. Like, well, I'm still learning, my friend. So we're going to keep flying her nice and slow. Monitor, let's make sure we do go into altitude capture here. All right, cap is on. All right, so now we're leveling. Now the airplane is going to go ahead and continue to accelerate. While it does that, let's go ahead and turn off our lights. Should have had those off earlier. That's coming off. We'll go ahead and turn the recon. We'll leave the stroke on. That's right. Everything else looks good. Now my wing heat is still cold. I don't know if that's normal or not, so I'll turn the stab off. Now we're accelerating out. And just like that, we're at 21,000 feet and halfway to Telluride already. And I don't even remember what happened in the chat because that took 100% of my concentration. Is pitch ref similar to SRS? No, Jeremy, it's no. SRS is a different, that is to help you pitch at V2 plus 10 and maintain that. The pitch ref, you're setting it manually. So as you press the thumb barrel down, you're lowering the pitch reference, and all that's happening is the autopilot is following that reference of the flight director. Now you can see here we still have some ice on our nacelles. Let me see if I can remedy this. Let's go, that's on. Let me turn these back on. We should be able to bleed that off, right? Oh, look. So it's working. That is pretty cool. We turned on the heats and we got rid of that ice that was on there. So we'll leave them on for Microsoft purposes. We know Microsoft can be a little bit funky. All right, we're already at 270 knots. Let's see what happens with our power. Let's sync our fuel flows. Another thing with this airplane, especially if you want to do longer flights, if you're just trying to look at your temps, your fuel flows are going to get way out of whack. So sync your fuel flows because fuel balance is important. And then you'll notice your turbines are pretty much set up. And then you go ahead and do a turbine sync in cruise here. We'll turn off the seatbelt sign, smoke them if you got them. And we are well on our way, chat. Now you hear that thumping in the background. That's that trim clacker. I think for English translation purposes, maybe they should rename it to trim thumper. I don't know, I guess it still kind of sounds like a clack, but they've adjusted the volume. I think it's good. I like it. I'm going to leave it on. It doesn't bother me yet. Maybe if you were doing a 3-hour flight, it would bother you. But it's always kind of good to know when your trim is running because you can't see anything unless you're actively looking somewhere. But, all right, we're pretty much stable, and we're probably almost already to our... Oh, no, we're not. So we're going to go direct at this point here. After we hit slalom, we're going to not go out this way. We're going to go direct too. But we're going to extend our flight a little bit here. Captain Vikas, thank you for the 500 rupees, my man. 450 rupees, appreciate you. Due for an upgrade from Satec. Go for the Alpha Yoke or save more and go for the force feedback Bruner. Same with rudder pedal, please advise. Well, I don't know anything about the Bruner. I've looked at it a couple times myself. It's a pretty penny. It depends on how much you want to spend, man. Alpha Yoke, I enjoyed it, but in light of the recent honeycomb debacle, I don't know if that's the best option as of right now, just because of what's happened with honeycomb and their business practices from what people have been saying. So keep that in mind. All right, for cinematic purposes, now let's go back to our flight plan and go direct. All right, so now we're going to scroll down and we're going to go direct to cones, which is the IAF. We're going to go direct to activate. Nice turn to the left. Here we go. Jay Long, thank you for the $5 super chat, my man. He says, "Hey, you went. Hope your holidays were great. What's your go-to wristwatch when flying?" Ooh, Jay Long. Look, man, I'm not a watch guy. I know a lot of folks are. I know a lot of pilots are hardcore into the watches. I'm not a watch guy. I never have been. So I have been wearing the same watch for 12 years. My wife got it for me when we were not married. I just got hired at an airline, and she got me I think it's just like a guess watch or something. So I don't wear the Breitlings or anything, hardcore. I know a lot of guys do, but I just wear that one because it's got sentimental value to me, So that's the one I wear. Appreciate the super chat, my man. Okay, so better comparison would be control wheel, steering, pitch mode. Yeah, Jeremy Harvey, that would be a fair assumption. In regards to the de-icing, will your engines actually ice up like that in real life? If so, how long will it take to heat up after putting the engine heat on? EKM surfboard. So as soon as the heat's on, in theory, it should be pretty quick. It depends on how cold soaked they are. So if those wings are sitting at minus 20, whatever the temps are on them, it's going to take a little bit. But as soon as the heat comes on, it doesn't take long. It's not instantaneous, but it doesn't take long. Bjorn, do you have permission to fly with the side stick? Scott, you sure can, man. You sure can. A 3-hour flight with the 300-310 trim sign would be harder to tolerate. Yes, it would be, Listerman. Yes, it would. Didn't Honeycomb just go off the grid? Yeah, that's what I heard, Jason. That's what I heard. Timex. Yeah, Timex are great watches. Nothing like the smell of asbestos and taste of lead in the morning. Good to see you, Force Raptor. Good to see you, man. All right. We don't have a long time to cruise, which is unfortunate. I almost just want to cancel the Airbus stream today and do more Lear flying. That's how much fun I've had with this airplane. We got about 5 more minutes to just chill, and then all hell's gonna break loose. Casios are good, yep. My basic $10 Timex works just fine. Yeah, AJ. I think if I was if I was a GA pilot, my corporate gig, I actually was gifted a Breitling. I was gifted a Breitling for, I don't know, one of the anniversaries or something. The owner of the citation, he gave us pilots some Breitling watches. It was great. I still have it. I never wear it. It's actually a little bit, so like, I feel like I need a large-faced watch just because my wrists are kind of big, I guess. I don't know. When I have a smaller face watch, it doesn't look right, in my opinion, and it's so expensive that I'd rather just keep it as a something to look back on. Put it on the shelf with the 3D model of the Citation Jet. Memorabilia. Stream is looking smooth. Sim famous. I'm really, really happy to hear that. Let's hope that stays true. We'll try it again later in the Airbus stream too. But yeah, I'm running new encoders. You should be seeing much smoother frames. Noah says, I've never understood spending thousands on watches. Like, other than flexing that you have money, why would you do that? Everyone's got their thing, man. Everyone's got their thing. Randy, thanks for the 9 months support. It's a super smooth looking stream. No frame drops for me. Hey, Randy, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Good to hear. Matt says New Balance or standard issue jet pilot tire. Yeah, we call that at the airlines, Matt. We call that the meet you downstairs in 5 starter pack. So a pair of white New Balance shoes, jeans, and a leather jacket with a plain white Hanes t-shirt. We call that the meet you downstairs in 5 starter pack. I wear GMT for brain-free Zulu time. There you go, Scott. I just look at the Zulu time on the airplane. I have so many numbers I try to just look at. I look at Zulu only when it's right there on the Airbus, on the chrono. It's got big right in the middle of the cockpit. Zulu time. Everything's off Zulu when I'm at work. When I'm at home, everything is just normal. And I keep my watch, so my watch it's an analog watch. I keep it on the time zone that I'm based in. I don't always reset my watch. Guys reset their watches all the time. Like, why, dude? You're flying all over the place. You're resetting your watch every day. I just leave it. I don't even change the days, because you know how several months have one less day, so it gets off. But I found out that if you just leave it, it will eventually always work itself back out to the correct day. Why no members only jacket? Did I get banned from VATSIM? Yeah, JJ Stevens, I'm still banned from VATSIM. I'm at this point. I've discussed with them, what's why I was banned, and I think it's BS. Because according to their terms of service, their new ones, having an abbreviated name is legal now. So that whole premise of my name not matching the account name is not true, or at least not anymore. So then the only reason for the ban would be because I created a new account over 5 years ago when I wanted to switch accounts anyway. So I could, they want proof of ID and all that, and I have it. I almost submitted it, but I'm like, you know what? Out of principle now, I think I'm done with VATSIM for a while. It's actually been nice to get back to our roots, because we never used VATSIM. This channel never used VATSIM for probably the first year that I was streaming, just because it's just an added distraction. But yeah, it's wild, man. After I submitted a compliment report to a controller is when I get banned. It's just funny. Get an Apple Watch, you can have multiple time zones displayed on the screen. Yeah, but now we're multiple time zones. It's multiple times to get confused. At least it wasn't that one time you put the drone. Hey, all the gear and no idea. I was even that would be a more valid reason. Be like, hey, you're banned because a year ago you put the drone cam in the tower and cleared somebody to land. Okay, at the time I'm being completely transparent. I did not know that was against their terms of service or whatever. I didn't read that far into the rules, so that is my own fault. I would accept that. But that's not even the reason. The two reasons they gave me was because my name was shortened, didn't match on the account, and because I created a new account over 5 years ago. It's like, okay, I guess there's no statute of limitations on that. A perma life ban. Tranquil Breeze gonna miss flying with you. Hey man, no worries. If you want to fly with me, hop on Iveo. The models are actually pretty nice. And like I said, I could upload documents, but I just think it's, I don't know. They didn't even, according to their new rules, their reason for banning me does not exist now. So, in the beginning, over 5 years ago, you used to have to register your name and you had to log on with your full name. That was the rule. They changed that rule in 2019 or 2020 where you could use your CID to log on. My new account had already been created before that, and I never even thought to check. I mean, I don't stay up to date with the latest rule changes. But even going off of that very premise, the fact that they're banning me for having my name not matching Pete versus Peter doesn't apply anymore anyway, so I don't know. Whatever. But then you hear kids screaming on VATSIM, JJ. That's the thing. I mean, the amount of racial slurs and trolling and all that nonsense that happens on VATSIM, and you're going to go after someone like me who was trying to make VATSIM a better place, just shows what it's all about. When I legally changed my name, VATSIM was more effort than getting all my bank accounts updated. Velociraptor, I signed up for the iVail the other day. Haven't used it yet. Yeah, give it a shot, man. If we cancel the Airbus stream, then we won't be able to do the green dot video. Oh, you're right, Jeremy. We got to fly to Indianapolis. I do have a line check. All right, that's it for chit chat and cruise. That's how fast things are happening. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show you. We're gonna do a holdover ETL. So we're gonna go back into study mode here. We're gonna pull up ETL cones, and I'm gonna go ahead and hold at waypoint. We're gonna load the hold. Boom. Hold is selected. Now cones is at 13,000 feet for the approach. So we're gonna go back to map mode. I'm gonna dial in 13,000. And now I'm going to disengage altitude hold, and I'm going to use my pitch ref. We're pitching down, and I'm going to use a speed hold on this for science. I want to see. I'm going to bring the power off. I'm going to do a speed hold, and we're going to arm the altitude. So our altitude is armed. We're doing an IAS hold descent, so by bringing power off the airplane, we should theoretically hold about 275 knots. Now we would need to slow down before entering the hold, because you don't want to enter the hold at 275 knots. But I kind of want to just see what's going to happen here. So the hold is inserted. We're doing a speed hold at about 275, 2,000 foot per minute descent. Things are looking good. We'll go ahead and start briefing the approach. I honestly thinking about just deleting my account. I fly very seldomly on VATSIM, but I do really want to fly on a network where some small dick. But I do really want to fly on a network where some small dictator can just ban you because he's in the mood. Yeah, Fractality. I hear you, man. Al W says I've seen Fort Worth VATSIM controllers trolling and using foul language. Most were real controllers or pilots in real life. Yep. Noah Miller, yeah, I was looking at that anti-micro to help you use the push-to-talk on the yoke. That is one downside to iVail right now. I guess they're working on a new version, but you can't have, right now you can't have a push-to-talk on the yoke. It has to be a keyboard. So I just use the control key because I don't use that for anything other than when I'm setting a binding. But yeah, you can use that anti-micro program to bind it to your yoke, which I might do. I'm still just kind of feeling out the whole iVail game. Maybe later this week. I think Team Vodka's got it set up now, and our Lear models, I mean, they're awesome. They match what you have in the sim, so it's pretty cool. We might do a little, get some little, not group flight, but like get some people to fly together. Why did I get banned? Go back about 5 minutes, Davey. We don't have to talk about it. This is sadly not a VATSIM thing. Only happens everywhere on the internet with people in power. Yep. True. That's very true, Winky. Very, very true. Will the reversers open in flight? I'm not going to test it right now. That would be definitely an issue. All right, we're 16.9. While we're descending, everything looks pretty kosher. Let's take a look. Oh, we never turned off the air ignition. Way to go, y'all. Where's my pilots in the chat? All right, here we go. Telluride, RNAV approach. 11.5 is the lowest possible minimum. That's for category B with an LP. 11.5 in the barrel. We're going to need to get below that. We're going to just go against the regs. But I'll show you this airplane capturing the LPV or the lateral or the vertical path down, which it did fine on the test sector. I'm going to go ahead and go full screen here. So theoretically, you could set an AGL altitude 2,500 over here, which is, you can only go to 2,000. Yeah, Mr. Martini, I'll probably just post. I'll probably make one large, or just make one community, or one final statement on it, and then that'll be that. All right, almost 2,000 feet to level off. We're going to monitor that. Now, I'm thinking we might be able to level off before we enter the hold, so then we can slow down. So let's just keep going at 275. Now, there should be... Oh, that's altitude select. Normally there is a... I thought there was like a barrow flag you could set on there. I don't see that, though. Unless there's something to do with this. Alerter, day mode, N1 reminder. No. I thought there was like a way you could set a bug on the altimeter for a barrel reference. If you don't have one, it's just old school. I remember when I flew Chieftains and even some of the old 99, there was no bugs for your barrel ref mins. You just had to know where you were in the altitude space. All right, we're leveling. Let's make sure we do capture traffic. We've even got TCAS traffic, 500 feet. Who's that? We'll go ahead and make a radio call here. Oh, there he is. There's that Scandinavian. Is that Scandinavian? Yeah, there is. Scandinavian's cutting us off there. That's fine. We'll let him enter the hold. Now, I want to make sure we enter the hold properly. So let me go back to map view here. Oh, it's not holding. Oh, no, 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 no. Why'd you not hold? Just leveled. Oh, I didn't activate it. All right, we're gonna have to fix this, chat. Oh, maybe it'll come back. It's just redrew it. Oh, it is. It's gonna do it just fine. All right. Telluride traffic, clear 7 Sierra Delta, entering the holdover cones, 13,000 feet. We're gonna proceed outbound for one turn and then inbound on the RNAV into Telluride traffic. All right, so we're level at 13,000. We did capture. Let's go ahead and start bringing the power back. I want to slow, because once we go inbound, we're going to go inbound at 180 knots. So we're going to start bringing the power off the airplane, maintain 13,000 feet here. We're at 250 knots. I want to see if this will actually cycle properly, because we kind of were late on it. Nope, it did. Look at that. So it drew perfectly, and we're still navving, so it's doing everything as it should right now. That's good. Airplane is doing airplane things. We're proceeding outbound. Slowing down to 250k knots. Let's run through our descent checklist here. All right, cabin altitude, field elevation, which we set pretty much before takeoff because we're not even getting above 21. So we'll descend it a little bit there. That looks good. Anti-ice as required. It's on right now. Transition level. We did descend below that. Let's do a magic barrel ref key. 2988 is set. Flight level 100, recognition light, signs, and approach briefing review. Since this is going to be a semi-illegal approach anyway, we're not doing a full approach briefing. We're going to try to fly an LPV with guidance below minimum so we can see the airport. Right now the ceilings would not allow us, or the visibility rather, would not allow us to shoot this approach. But we're going to see what happens for testing purposes here. We can go ahead and turn on the... We'll turn on the fasten seatbelt sign, but we'll leave the no smoking sign on. We'll go ahead and get our air ignition back on, and we should have had the windshield heat on for the descent. Apparently the Lear 35 is very susceptible to fogging on the descent, so Matt mentioned that on descent they would go ahead and turn that windshield heat on, keep that windshield from fogging up. Looks like we're in the turn here, I think. Let's see what happens here. I'm not going to reset anything. I'm just going to let it do its thing. We'll monitor it. Nav is armed, so maybe we flew out of it. We might have flown out of it. That was a pilot error, not a airplane error. So I'm going to select heading, and what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to go menu. Oh, I keep hitting menu. Why do I keep doing that? Let's go procedures. Let's activate vectors to final, and we're going to vector ourselves back to the final. So that was not an airplane bug. That was a pilot error. We didn't activate the hold when we loaded it. So the airplane started to turn inbound, then I activated the hold, and then it was out of limits, and it just kind of went into blah, blah land. So we're back in heading. We'll rearm the nav here once we get turned around. Let's continue to slow up to 180 knots. After 13,000, we're gonna intercept that path. I'll set the minimum, which was 11.5. but I'll tell you right now we're going to need to go below that. So 11.5 is set. Is RNAV much harder to do than ILS? No, Eddie. I wouldn't say it's harder. It's just different. Some operators or some pilots are less confident in RNAV because maybe they only do ILS everywhere, but nah, it's not any hard. It's just different. Just a couple different things to set up. An ILS will always get you lower to the ground. I shouldn't say always, but most of the time will get you lower to the ground. Unless you're doing like a MLS or something. Now this is going to be pretty tight here. We're below 200. Let's go flaps 8. This is going to be a very tight intercept. In fact, let's do this. Let's go flight plan. Let's go direct. We're already inbound FAF course. Never mind. SEPMA is at 12. All right, we're going to arm. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to arm you. Nav is armed. Glide slope, technically a glide path is armed. Let's see what the airplane does here. We're still below the path. You can see here, here's our vertical deviation. We're below that. We're about 180 knots. Now let's get some power back on so we don't get too slow. This will be a very steep intercept here too. Rubes, welcome back to Private Pilot, my man. All right, so 13. So we're good on the altitude. You're supposed to be at 13 to SEPMA anyway. So we're looking good. We're joining inside of the initial IAF. We got traffic. Go ahead and close that. Got someone off our right wing there. Telluride traffic. Lear 7 Sierra Delta just inside of cones. 13,000 for the RNAV. RNAV 9er into Telluride. All right, so you can see here we've intercepted the course, bringing the power back, coming to 180. Now, our glide path should link up here. I'll bring the sounds in. Scroll my heading bug over. I guess we could have turned this on too, a little close-in radar. All right, so we're on the final approach course, a little bit fast. We'll turn off our turbine sync. That would have been at the... I believe at the descent check there. Turbine sync is off. We'll get the rest of our lights on because it's going to get busy. Chris, the only PFC controls I tried were way back in my flight instructor days. We had a PFC sim set up for our students. So I'm familiar with them, I've used them, but it's been years since I've used them. All right, we're on speed, we're 13,000 feet. Here comes our path. Now you should see this arm go into green here. Let's see what happens. There it is, captured the path down to our minimum. Now our barrel min is 11.5, but like I said, we're going to be going below that. Let's go ahead and start configuring. Let's go gear down. And we're below 200. We'll go flaps, what is it, 20? Yeah, flaps 20. There's 1,000 foot for the altitude alert to our barrel min, but like I said, we're going below that. Mountain goat. How long has the coffee been there? Wait, there's coffee here? I don't see coffee, just a couple of cups.
Telluride traffic, my name is 714. We're going to be joining the RNAV Yankee runway 9er, Telluride traffic.
All right, so 200 feet to our minimums. going to continue to slow down. Never checked our ref speed. Actually, we might be legal. There's 11.5. Continue. Approach lights. Continue. Approaching final hydraulic pressure check. Landing data assessed. Spoilers are retracted. Flaps are down. Landing gear down. Anti-skid is on. Thrust reversers are armed. Right? No, they're not. Watch that speed. Power, power, power. Ignition's on. Autopilot will disengage and yaw damper off during the flare, which is hard to bind. I'm going to have to figure out how to bind that. I think we should be right about 122. We're a little bit slow. I'm going to do here and here. Power. You can see our AOA is still in the green, so we're all right. We'll come in with a little extra juice. Oh, I never started the flight recorder. No circle to land. There's no way we could circle. There's the runway. We're just starting to see it. Come on, where's my flight recorder? Gotta record this landing. All right, recording's on. Runway's in sight. Autopilot's off. Yaw damper is off. Jeez. Now we're starting to get that turbulence coming through here through the mountains. Goodness.
500.
A little bit high, correcting. Don't want to drive it into the mountain there, that's for sure. 4 rights, but those pappies are not proper. Power, power, power. Come across that cliff there. All right, working that power out. Spoilers. Get those reversers. There's our deploy. Nose wheel steering is on. Manual braking. Ooh, yeah. Stow it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Telluride. Now we can get hopefully we can get a new nose cone and a new fuel tank. Telluride traffic, clear 70 Delta, clear over runway 9, taxi ramp, Telluride. All right, let's clean her up. We'll stop the recording. Man, this airplane, I'm telling you, when you come across the threshold, it starts to get, like, when that wind starts bumping you around like that, and you're riding that AOA, it is just, it's slippery, man. She's so slippery. I love it. Absolutely love it. Stow the speed brakes. I guess we'll just go right here. Welcome to Telluride Airport. We'll leave our lights on there because we're going right into the replay. Brakes are set. We do a full shutdown, but we're not going to because we're going into a replay. Let's see the Scandinavian land real quick since he's short final, and it is Telluride. Let's see how he does here. I think he's at a Fokker, that's pretty ballsy. Oh, there he is. There he is. I see his lights. Let's see how he does, and then we'll do the replay. Whew. That was fun. Yeah, we need a sound pack, pilot unknown. Exterior, we need some aggressive sounds, man. I remember FSX mission at Telluride with a Learjet, good old days. Mateus, I know exactly which one you're talking about, man. Listerman, I don't know what scenery this is. I've been out of Telluride for so long, I don't even know if I have a scenery here. If this doesn't look like default, then I don't know. Maybe something on the freeware, Flights MTO. I don't think I have a payware here at all. But I'll tell you what, it's sketchy enough in a Lear. Let's give this guy some applaud for coming in a freaking Fokker to Telluride. Palm sweaty, palm spaghetti. I'm definitely sweating. Greg, so this is one of those birds where, like, I haven't had sweaty palms on landing in a long time, but with this Lear, I feel like I'm always getting sweaty palms. Oh yeah, he nailed it. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect. We're only gonna do one leg today, unfortunately. Let's see what our replay looked like. Let's go replay mode. Let's load it back. Man. We'll watch it from this view right here. Why is that gear horn on? Oh, gear's down. Alright, good. Everything's good. Alright, yeah, we're looking good. Let's watch it from the window. Happy New Year, Sahil. What was our landing rate? Did we even get a landing rate, chat? Did we even get a landing rate? I'm curious. This is the passenger view. Gotta love it. I love how you can see the visual snow and ice on the wings too when you don't have the heats on. I hope that doesn't get changed in the future. It gets squirrely when you start coming around that threshold, man. Work it out. Boom. Touchdown. Spoilers first. There you go. Fly the nose down and then deploy the buckets. Gotta love it. Right bang on the center line, too. Joey Bagpipes, that clicking sound you hear is the N1 clackers. Just, let's watch it from, I want to watch it from the cockpit one more time. Look how fluid the airplane is. Like, this is turbulence coming in here, and you just, everything feels so fluid. Pappies are definitely a little misaligned there. They have you coming down at that 500-footer. Right here you get that sink, though. Listen to the power's coming up. Counteract that sink. A little bit of a gust here. Work it out. Don't be over-aggressive. Nice quartering tailwind. Work it out. Hold her off. Nice flare that time. Much better flare than my previous landing. I wish we could fly this more. I would do another stream tonight, but we got the college football championship, so I can't. But I'm going to end it here. I'm going to let you guys watch one or two more here of these Lears. I don't know if any of the devs are in chat, but if you are, if you see this video, you guys are doing an awesome job with this airplane. This, hands down, might be... Right now, it's my favorite airplane in the sim, no doubt about it. And I think when it's finished, it's going to be a hell of a bird. I mean... The combination of relative simplicity on how it's operated, everything, there's nothing like funky or out of whack, but its rawness in nature with the analog gauges and everything, and then the flight model. The flight model feels so good. It just feels so good. It's so rewarding and equally punishing. I think that's something really good. With as rewarding as it is, it's equally as punishing if you're not paying attention. All right, I got to get out of here. We will be doing an Airbus stream. I got to do my line check preparation flight. That'll be coming at you later this afternoon. I think we're scheduled for 2 o'clock. I might bump it up a little bit, but we'll see. This will automatically direct you there at the conclusion of this stream. Thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do hit that like button. Hit that like button so we can continue to fly Learjets, because Learjets are awesome. And until the next one, it's going to be here pretty soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya.